Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to the most complete spoken English course on YouTube, where you learn English without boring grammar, without textbooks, and without stress. Here, you learn by listening to real-life stories and answering simple questions that will boost your fluency. Today's story is called Emily Was Bullied and No One Helped Her. Let's begin. Emily was 8 years old. She had just started second grade at a new school in a new town. Her family had moved because her dad got a new job, and although Emily missed her old friends, she was excited to make new ones. On the first day of school, she wore her favorite pink backpack with a big yellow flower on it. Her mom had braided her hair and packed her a peanut butter sandwich and a small apple for lunch. Emily smiled all the way to school. When she walked into her new classroom, she said, "Hi," to a few kids. Some smiled back. But one girl named Megan looked at her and whispered something to another girl. Then they both giggled. Emily didn't know what they said, so she just sat down quietly. The first few days were okay. Emily tried to be friendly, raising her hand in class, saying good morning to the teacher. But slowly, things began to change. At lunch, she started to notice that other kids wouldn't let her sit at their table. When she approached, they would move their backpacks or say, "Someone's sitting here," even when the seat was empty. In the playground, Megan and her friends would follow her around, whispering and laughing. One day, they said, "Nice backpack, Emily. Did you get that from a baby store?" Emily didn't answer. She just walked away. But the teasing didn't stop. Every day, it got a little worse. Sometimes, the girls would grab her hair and pull on it just to be mean. Sometimes, they would steal her pencils and hide them around the classroom. They would call her names like crybaby, loser, and weirdo. Emily tried to tell the teacher once. She said quietly, "Miss Carter, the girls are being mean to me." But the teacher was busy helping another student and said, "Okay, Emily, I'll talk to them later." She never did. Emily went home and told her mom. Her mom said, "Just ignore them, sweetie. They'll stop eventually." But they didn't. One day, during recess, Megan took Emily's lunchbox and threw it in the trash can. Emily cried. She sat by the fence alone, watching the other kids play. No one said anything. No one helped. Even the teacher on duty looked over once and turned away. Emily started pretending to be sick just to stay home. She would say, "My stomach hurts," or "I have a headache." She just didn't want to go back to that place anymore. One afternoon, her teacher asked her in front of the whole class, "Emily, why have you missed so many days?" Before she could answer, someone said, "Because she's a drama queen." Everyone laughed. Emily looked down and didn't say a word. At home, her mom got a call from the school. The teacher said Emily seemed distracted, sad, and was falling behind in reading. Her mom asked, "Has anyone been bothering her?" The teacher replied, "Not that I've seen. She's just quiet." Emily sat in her room that evening, hugging her teddy bear and crying softly. She thought, maybe if I was prettier, or louder, or funnier, maybe then they'd like me. But none of this was her fault. The next week, a new girl named Layla joined the class. She sat next to Emily and smiled on the first day. "Hi, I'm Layla," she said. "Want to sit with me at lunch?" Emily's eyes lit up. "Really? You want to sit with me?" Layla nodded. "Of course. I like your backpack." That was the first nice thing anyone had said to her in weeks. Emily and Layla became friends. They ate lunch together, played on the swings, and walked to class side by side. Megan tried to tease both of them, but Layla would just say, "Go away, Megan." One afternoon, Megan grabbed Emily's hair again. This time, Layla shouted, "Stop it! I'm telling the teacher." And she did. For the first time, the teacher actually took action. Megan got detention, and her parents were called in for a meeting. Slowly, the bullying started to stop. Emily began smiling again. She raised her hand in class. She even read a poem out loud during reading time. And one day, she wore her pink backpack proudly, and someone said, "That's a cool bag, Emily." Emily realized that all it took was one voice to stand up for her, one person who cared, and she promised herself that if she ever saw someone else being bullied, she'd be that voice too. Now, it's time for your quiz. Let's test how much you understood from the story. Remember, answer out loud, and you have 5 seconds to respond after each question. Ready? Let's go. Why did Emily change schools? Emily changed schools because her family moved to a new town after her dad got a new job, and she had to start 2nd grade in a different place with new classmates. What was Emily's first day like? Her first day was okay. She tried to be friendly and polite, saying hi to her classmates and following directions, but some girls began whispering and laughing at her. Who were the girls that bullied Emily? The main girl was named Megan, and she had a group of friends who joined her in teasing Emily, making fun of her backpack, pulling her hair, and calling her names. How did Emily's teacher respond when she asked for help? The teacher, Miss Carter, told Emily that she would talk to the girls later, but she never did anything about the bullying, and Emily was left feeling ignored. What did Emily's mom say when Emily told her about the bullying? Her mom told her to ignore the bullies and said they would stop eventually, but this advice didn't help, and the bullying continued every day. What happened when Megan threw Emily's lunchbox in the trash? Emily cried and sat alone during recess while no one helped her. Even the teacher on duty noticed, but chose to look away instead of stepping in. Why did Emily pretend to be sick? She pretended to be sick because she was afraid to go back to school and face more bullying. She said she had stomach aches or headaches just to stay home. Who changed things for Emily at school? A new girl named Layla joined the class and became Emily's friend. She invited her to lunch, defended her, and even reported Megan to the teacher when she crossed the line. How did the teacher finally react to the bullying? After Layla reported Megan, the teacher finally took action, giving Megan detention and calling her parents in for a meeting, which led to the bullying stopping. What promise did Emily make at the end of the story? Emily promised that if she ever saw someone being bullied like she was, she would stand up for them and be the voice that makes a difference, just like Layla was for her. Great job. Even if you didn't get all the answers, remember, the goal is to practice speaking and listening. Now let's go over some vocabulary from today's story. Let's take a closer look at some key words and expressions from the story. Bullied. When someone is treated meanly or hurt repeatedly by others. For example, he was bullied at school for wearing glasses. Ignored. To not pay attention to someone or something. For example, she told the teacher, but she felt ignored when no one helped. Whisper. To speak very softly or quietly. For example, they whispered secrets behind her back. Tease. To laugh at or make fun of someone in a mean way. For example, the kids teased her because of her clothes. Detention. A school punishment where a student must stay after class. For example, He got detention for being rude to the teacher. Linger. To stay in a place longer than needed. For example, she lingered by the door, not wanting to leave. Pretend. To act like something is true when it's not. For example, he pretended to be sick to skip school. Encouragement. Words or actions that give hope and support. For example, her friend gave her encouragement to keep going. Backpack. A bag worn on your back to carry school supplies. For example, she wore her favorite pink backpack to school. Stand up for. To defend someone or speak out against unfair treatment. For example, he stood up for his friend who was being bullied. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. You are doing something amazing by learning English with stories. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so more people can enjoy these stories and learn English the easy way. This is Docentes DigitalesTV, where you learn to speak English fast, easy, and with confidence. See you in the next video.